Alright, here is the Red Demon Spear build. I've used the build for melee combat with spear, and magic is added to this build to make it insanely powerful. This is the most simple build that I've done, and it is by far the most devastating one. You will see. Stats. Let's go explaining the stats. Body is needed for spear damage, obviously. You will get a lot of health with it as well. Heart is there for the second weapon that you have. Heart is needed especially for this build because it gives you more ki, and ki is needed a lot because you mostly be using strong stance with spear, which uses a lot of ki. Stamina is there on 9 just so that we get agility damage bonus A, and strength is 5, skill is 13 because we need skill 13 at minimum so that we can wear Red Demon set, unless you crafted one. If you crafted one, then you need only 6. Pump the rest of the stats in magic and some in spirit. In order to use Enko spirit, you're going to need 16 spirit to use the last special effect from Enko, and we are going to use that with the build. If you want, you can pump more points into spirit, because the more you pump points into spirit, the more powerful it will be. But the thing is, you won't need it at all. Alright, this is the equipment. Basic Red Demon armor set, all the divine gear that I have. And the only thing that you can change here are the accessories, because this is built based on one set. So there's no changing sets and weapons and whatnot. You can only change the second weapon and longer range weapons and the accessories. You can go for damage from behind, or you can go to elemental attack damage, or you can go plus fire damage if you have those types of charms, or you can go unlimited Omnio or more Omnio magic power. I mean, options here are limitless. Really flexible thing. As for the skills, go for whatever you want, but first go for passive. You need you when your health drops to 30% or low. Well, I actually suggest that you go for most passives on most trees, because they are active as well, even if you don't use that weapon. The most important skill here is Spearfall. This set that we are wearing, Red Demon set, gives us a lot of power on Spearfall. It is in high stance, so go everything high stance here that you need, except, well, yeah, go everything that you want, up to you. What you want besides Spearfall, but definitely go for Key Pulse Recovery as with everything. As for Mystic Art, choose for yourself. That Spear quick stance change, I don't know what it is, I don't know how to use it, I don't even have it yet. But the second one looks really good, where you can't hit walls in short spaces, in narrow spaces, and you can't, and your range is extended, which is pretty insane. Also, I'm going to use low stance with my high stance, all the skills from the low stance, because when you use a low stance and when you use that finisher with a lot of piercing slashes, thrusts that is, you have more chance when you use quicker attacks to put Scorched status effect on an enemy. The more strikes you deal in shorter time, the more chances you have that you're going to fill up that status bar and that enemy will become Scorched. And when enemy becomes Scorched, you're going to deal plus 30% more damage to the Scorched enemy. That's why the low stance. For the mid stance, I've only used the parry thing. The parry is pretty cool. For dual swords, I went here and only used the passive here. And for Kusarigama as well, I've used the passive that gives me more on damage on final blows and more damage from behind. From what I've read, this matters because these things are active even if I'm not using the weapon. I don't know for Mystic Arts. If someone can confirm that, I don't know the inner mechanics of it, but supposedly it works on other weapons. But I don't know for Mystic Arts. I need confirmation on that. But if these passives are transferred to another weapons, which I believe they are, then you can go for every passive on every tree. As for the Omnium Magic, you're going to need 3 essential scrolls: Weakness, Carnage and Protection. Others that I've added are Fire Shot, Water Shot, Awakening is a mystic art that is very useful because you'll be casting protection on yourself. And I've used also Kekai spell as well that increases your ki recovery because you'll be using a lot of strong stance attacks, as I've said before, and ki is really important here. And you'll be also clearing yokai pulse while just running through them with this scroll on. Increased Omnia capacity to maximum is important as well. Steel Talisman if you want, up to you. But I like Fire Shot and Water Shot, which I'll explain later on why. And these are the things that you can go for here, and it's really flexible. You can go for whatever you want as long as you have Carnage, Talisman and Protection. Yeah, Talisman of Protection and what's it called? Weakness, yeah. For the Guardian Spirit you're going to need Enko. Enko is directly linked to the Red Demon set. It gives us a lot of break, it gives us more fire damage, and it gives us grapple damage, which is very important in this case because you'll be using high stance, which deals a lot of ki damage, and opponents will go out of ki frequently. And when they go out of ki, you do grapple and you do plus 25% more damage, which is beautiful. Here are the things that I've readied. The only thing that is missing here is Fire Shot. I've used Fire Shot only on Tachibana to test my theory, and it worked. So you can also add that, but this is what I had for the Demon King revealed fights that I'm going to show you just now. So let's get to fights. Just so you know, these fights are in real time, and at the beginning I did not use Scorch at all actually for all of these fights except one. I did not use Fire Shot to scorch my enemy at all. So this is all Demon King revealed, and the last 2 fights are against Tachibana on Way of the Strong, so it is level 190 mission, so he's very powerful there. You won't believe how fast he went down. Same as this. This is all real time, it's not sped up. Everything is melting. This build is absolutely insane. I knew that it would be the case like this because I think Spear is very powerful in this game. And later I will show you when I was battling Kelly how you can use the mid stance with triangle to just poke your enemy and keep them afar. I mean, absolute insanity. You can be cheesy, you can be powerful, you can be immortal, you can be whatever you want. So what I'm doing here, I'm putting protection on me, Carnage on me, Kekai on me, and the rest goes on enemy. The things I'm using on enemies are Life Seal, I think it's called Life Seal, that reduces the recovery ability of your enemy. Recovery of their ki. Yeah, recovery of their ki. Is that Devigorate or Life Seal? I forgot. I think it's Life Seal. Either way, I'm using that on them and weakness on them, while on myself I'm using Kekai, Talisman and Carnage. And look at this, Oda Nobunaga, poor guy. This was actually the end. I did not skip the end. I did not skip anything. You know that the fight does not go all the way. Now for the Kelly, I've used the low stance, not the high one, because it goes against him better. And he went down quickly as well. Now you will see that in the end I did not want to finish him. I was just poking him with mid stance and triangle. That's a very cheesy way to play, but it's very powerful, and It really keeps them afar and deals decent amount of damage while still protecting you, because they can't reach you. This is where I switched to mid stance and started poking the bastard just to have fun with him. I mean, I'm telling you, this is the most simple, overpowered build that there is in the game. I mean, most of you probably come up with this during your playthrough, but yeah, it's absolute insanity. Oh yeah, this is the one where I scorched my enemy. So this is where fire shot comes in play. I'm scorching my enemy here so that he gets the scorched status, and when he has the scorched status, then I deal plus 30% more damage on him. That's why the fire shot. You can also use the combination with water shot and make a confusion status. Confusion status makes your enemy completely useless. It drains their ki, they can't recover their ki, they are slower, they are fucked up completely. But they need to have 2 elemental status effects on them in order for that to be viable. Water shot is also good against fire resistant enemies, so that you can always switch up to that and just nuke them down with water shot. This is the first version where I scorched the bastard. In the second version I did not scorch him at all. I just went normal. Kekai on myself, Carnage on myself, Protection on myself, Weakness on him, and Life Seal on him. And it was piss easy. And that's it, guys, that's everything that you need for this build. I mean, if you want the game on easy mode, this is it. This is really it. It can't be easier than this, I think. Alright, that's it for now. I'm going to come up with a couple of more builds that I'm done with the game. And I'm going to do a channel update this weekend so that you guys know what's up next in March and whatnot. And yeah, that's it. See ya.